Hello students, welcome back. This one mark question is of the type match the following. It's from GIT exam of 2004. We need to match any three of these four with P, Q and R. So let's have a look at the first one. It says ensures reliable transport of data over a point-to-point link. This is done by data link layer. That means one matches with P. Let's see how. Suppose this is your smartphone and you want to connect to some server. Okay, you want some data from this server. You cannot directly request the server because there is no direct link. You need to send the request packet to your home router. Then it will be sent to maybe ISP's router, and then some more intermediary node will be there in the path. Then that request will reach this server. This is called hop to hop delivery, or we can say data is transmitted from a point to point. From here, data is transmitted till your router. Then from this router, data is transmitted to this router and so on. This is done by data link layer. Okay. Data link layer has various responsibilities. Major one is hop to hop delivery. For doing so, it needs to manage the MAC addresses. That means the packet or the frame that is sent from your PC will have a source MAC address and a destination MAC address. Source MAC address will be MAC address of your laptop. Destination MAC address will be MAC address of this router. All of this stuff is managed by data link layer. Okay. So other responsibility of data link layer is error control. I hope you know that we perform error control at various layers. Data link layer is one of those layers. So they're also using this word reliable. That means there must be no error. So we need to add some redundant bits for error control. That is done by data link layer. Okay. And then point number 2 says encode and decode data for physical transmission. Now data link layer has prepared a frame. It has written all that MAC address and source address along with redundant information, that is for error control, and a lot of things. That frame will actually be given to physical layer for transmission through this media. Okay, this media, this channel, it can be air also if you are connected to a wireless router. This media can be a copper wire, this media can be a optical fiber. In case of optical fiber, you will transmit signal in form of light. So the frame that is actually prepared, the frame has a lot of bits, 1 0 1 1 0 0 and so on. These bits need to be converted into some kind of signal depending on what type of channel you are using, and that signal will be transmitted. Okay, so that is called encoding or decoding data, the digital data for physical transmission. So the word is encoding or decoding. How do I know they are talking about encoding or decoding at physical layer only? Because they are saying this encoding and decoding is done for the purpose of transmission. Okay, encoding and decoding is done at various layers. It's done at data link layer also. It's done at presentation layer. But because they are specifying that this encoding and decoding is done for physical transmission, this means they are talking about encoding bits or the digital data into some signal. Okay. Then point number 3 is allow end-to-end communication between two processes. It's transport layer. So 1 matches with P, for 2 we don't have any match, 3 matches with R. Let us write here 1 P, 3 R, and you can see 4th one will match with the Q. Okay. Anyways, let's discuss about point number 3. Allow end-to-end communication between two processes. What is end-to-end communication? See, this is your PC. Suppose this is your PC. Okay. There might be various processes running in your PC. Say all of these are processes. You are maybe updating some application, you are listening to songs on YouTube. Side by side, you want to download some home page. Okay, maybe you want home page of Google. Now this is the process. This is the browser process that wants to connect to this process. Okay, here also there will be this machine. In this machine, there might be various processes running. This process of your machine wants to connect to this process of Google's machine. Okay, this is called end-to-end delivery. There is also something called host-to-host delivery. Host-to-host delivery is taken care of by network layer. Network layer has IP addresses. IP address can only identify one machine. So this machine will be identified at the network layer by IP address, and this machine will be identified at the network layer by IP address. But using only IP addresses, you cannot identify which process are you talking about. Suppose this machine has sent some data. It is received by this machine. How will we know that it is for this specific process only? That is taken care of by transport layer using port numbers. Okay. All of these processes will be working at some port number. If port number here is 80, whatever data is received on this machine can be directed to this process using port number. Port number's facility is provided by transport layer. The terminology is service point addressing. This is done by transport layer. So end-to-end communication between two processes is taken care of by transport layer. 3 matches with R. So let me just draw a small diagram. Suppose these are two machines. These are various processes running in these machines. If you want to connect this process to this process, this is called end-to-end delivery. End-to-end means from this starting point, you need to reach till this ending point. That's why we are using end-to-end. For this, these two hosts have to be connected. This is called host to host. Okay, this is host to host. This is end-to-end. And for connecting both of them, we actually need to go through these routers. Okay, that is called hop to hop. So there will be various routers and various network nodes between these. This one is hop to hop, this is host to host, and this is end to end. Hop to hop is done by data link. Host to host is done by network. End to end is done by transport layer. Okay, we have various addresses at all of these levels. We were discussing about point number 3. This is done. Now we have point number 4. Routers from one network, routes data from one network node to another. Okay, this is done by the network layer. That means 4 matches to Q. It is 4Q. What is the meaning of route data from one network node to another? They're actually talking about forwarding a packet or the process of switching. See, when this router, it receives a packet, the IP address, or actually the destination IP address in that packet will be of this machine. Okay, it will see that IP address and will decide to which side that to which interface that packet needs to be forwarded. This router may be connected to various other routers or machines. Okay, but it will forward that packet to this interface only based on the IP address using its routing tables. This all happens at network layer. I hope you know that routing tables are prepared by routing algorithms. The process is actually called routing, and all of this stuff is managed by network layer. And actually looking into the routing table and forwarding this packet to appropriate interface is called the process of switching. It's not called routing. Okay, so route data from one network node to another is done by the network layer. Now see, network layer has determined which is the next node. It is this one. That means network layer has selected at which interface do we need to forward this data. Okay, now network layer will give that packet to data link layer. Using that packet, data link layer will actually do the transmission by preparing a frame, writing these MAC addresses, doing error control and stuff. Then it will give the packet to physical layer for the purpose of encoding and for making that data go through the medium. Okay,